welcome back to my channel. So for those of you who are new here, hi, my name is Ivana, and today we are just gonna have a little bit of girl talk, just kind of sitting back, relaxing. I've been saying that I wanted to do more of these videos, so this is the first one of the year. I'm super excited, but before I get too far into this video, I'm gonna go ahead and do my subby shout out. I have 3 subby shout outs. The first one goes out to Leslie St. Clair 9203. The second one goes out to Shandy Faith 5377, and the third one goes out to All Things Christian. So hi ladies, how are you? Thank you so much for subscribing. Thank you for commenting. I really do appreciate it, just like so many of you others. If you haven't already, then definitely go ahead and subscribe and join the family. But if you're anyone who's like me, typically it takes me about 2 or 3 videos to go ahead and subscribe to someone's channel. So I'll have video here for you, and right here for you. And after you watch 1 or all 3 of those videos, hopefully you'll go ahead and subscribe and join the family. So now, honey, let's just go ahead and get right into it. Alrighty, so in this girls chat, I am covering morning routines, evening routines, books, friendships as an adult, and maybe a little bit of dating. I don't know. I don't really talk about that, but we might get into it a little bit. So the first thing that I'm going to talk about is I'm going to address my face. Yes, I do not have makeup on. I feel like this lighting is, I don't know, it's kind of like really insinuating a lot of my like dark spots. They really don't look that bad in person, but on camera it is really showing there. So, yeah, please be nice in the comments. But yeah, no makeup on today. I also took off my press-on nails. And the reason for that is because I have been testing out like a new skincare routine and just a morning routine and just really being consistent with a lot of things. So first thing that I'm going to talk about is self-care. And I have all of my little products in this cute little bag. So I just want to go ahead and say this is not an ad. This is not paid promotion. These are genuinely just products that I use, and they just so happen to all be from the same brand. And so I use a lot of Urban Skin RX products. All of them are Urban Skin RX or CeraVe. I found out about this line, I want to say about 2 years ago or so, and I've been using it consistently ever since. So I will say that like I don't really think that I have like adult acne per se, but I do still have a little bit of discoloration on my skin. So I cover that all up with the good help of makeup. But I will say that I'm starting to come into like my skin a little bit more. And so I think that I'm becoming a little bit more comfortable with like not having makeup on all the time. Let me fix this light, my gosh. But I feel like I'm just starting to be able to like come into my skin a little bit more, just be a little bit more comfortable with like not wearing a bunch of makeup or feeling like I can't leave the house without makeup on. That used to be a huge thing of mine. I don't know if anyone else feels like that. I really used to feel like I just could not leave the house without makeup or concealer or a whole bunch of foundation. I used to get the like super duper heavy coverage foundations because I was so insecure about my face. But I will say that ever since I've been using like Urban Skin RX, I will say that like my face is very, very smooth despite a little bit of discoloration there. It's very, very smooth, and it has gotten a lot better over the years. So in the morning, I will typically either use this Urban Skin RX Even Tone Cleansing Bar. So this is the cleansing bar that I use, but I don't use this every day. And then I'll also use the CeraVe Gentle Renewing facial cleanser. So those are the 2 facial cleansers that I use. After that, I immediately follow up with a toner in the morning and at night. And then I will go in with a moisturizer. Sometimes I'll use this one. I don't use it every day, but I use it sometimes. So if I'm not using this one, then I use this one. And after that, I'll then follow up with a little bit of a serum. So this is the product that I use, and I get all of these products from Ulta. And then I want to say at least 2 or 3 days out of the week, I will use this. So this is just kind of like a scrub that also helps with dark spots. And then I'll also use a face mask. So those are the products that I use. I don't use a lot of like the little cutesy face mask and stuff like that because I have really, really sensitive skin. So I don't really have time to experiment a whole lot because then if my face breaks out, it's just a whole ordeal. But I will say that ever since I've been doing that, like my skin looks and feels amazing. So that's pretty much what I use in the morning and pretty much at night as far as like my skincare. And then another thing that I've been doing is I have been taking like immune vitamins. My mom got me vitamins for Christmas because I don't know about y'all, but vitamins are expensive. And that was just something that I did not want to spend my money on. So yes, I asked for vitamins for Christmas, and and my mom got me some, so I've been taking those. So like I have not gotten sick all year as far as like the little sniffles, the coughs, the sore throats. I typically don't really get sick. I have a pretty good immune system, but I am taking like immune vitamins. And then I'm also using collagen. So that's why I have departed from my press-on nails. I will say that like my nails are actually looking pretty decent. I feel like they're looking a lot healthier. And then I'm just using like a clear nail polish on top, like a clear top coat. That's also kind of like a nail hardener. So that's what I'm pretty much using on my nails. And I am probably gonna stay off my press-ons for probably the rest of this month. Now, I've been using the collagen ever since November, but as y'all know, I've still been having like press-on nails. So by the time I do like my nail routine, I cut my nails. I don't really give them time to grow, to strengthen, and all of that stuff. So I was like, let me take a break and just do like the clear nail polish. So that's what I've been doing. And I will say that like my nails just look and feel healthier. So I've been loving that. As you guys can see, I did put braids in my hair. When I washed my hair, I will say that it does feel like it's getting a little bit longer. And when like I was just running my fingers through my hair was just so soft and it was full and it just felt really good and healthy. So between the immune vitamins, the collagen, I'm also drinking green juice every single morning. I drink about 8 ounces of green juice, and then I take immune booster shots. So I'll do elderberry, vitamin C, or turmeric. So those are some of the things that I've just been incorporating into like my morning routine. And when I tell you, it's been like super helpful. I've really loved it. And they say that once you start doing something for 21 days straight, it literally just becomes like a normal pattern. And so that's how I feel. I feel like washing my face is something that I look forward to. You know, my morning collagen and my tea and my green juice and my immune shot. It's just like something that's just kind of embedded in me at this point. So that's been really helpful. And I feel like it's like just having a good routine is just something that I feel like everybody should have. And then in the evenings, I have actually been getting back into yoga. So I feel like yoga is one of those things that I did because I was like, well, I want to kind of get back in shape, but I don't really know where to start. I started with yoga and it's definitely been helpful. Now, I will link one of the videos that I have been using in the description box down below. I don't go to like a yoga class or anything like that. I'm not trying to get embarrassed in the class, y'all. I'm, still trying to build my endurance and my strength back up, but I will do like the videos at home and I feel really good afterwards. So I've been using yoga as just kind of like a little bit of a stress reliever after work. It's about a 20 to 25 minute workout session. And then after that, I take my shower and go on about my night. Going on about my night typically looks like reading a good book. So the current book that I'm reading is this one. And I thought that it was going to be like way better than what it is. I mean, it's not a bad book, but it's giving very much Hallmark vibes. And I feel like my tolerance for Hallmark movies sometimes is very slim. Like I don't have the tolerance to sit there and watch the same thing over and over again with just different characters. No disrespect to anyone that does enjoy watching Hallmark movies. I think they're great, but I think that like trying to read a Hallmarky vibe book, to me sometimes it's just not that entertaining. But I picked it up because I thought it was going to be good. I'm going to finish it. I'm about halfway done with it. I mean, it's not like horrible, but there's nothing that's really been like grabbing my attention to where I'm like, ooh, like what's the rest of this storyline? Some of it is a little bit predictable in the book, but I mean, I'm going to get through it. And I feel like that's one thing about me. I feel like if I've already spent my money on a book and I've lost the receipt or I can't find it and I'm already started it and I'm halfway through it, I'm not going to lie. Sometimes I do just kind of like finish it. And I also like the book cover. So it's like, for aesthetic purposes, I wouldn't want to get rid of it, but I'm like, I might as well just go ahead and finish it. But I do have some book recommendations for you all. I brought 4 of like some of my favorite books. So I'm on my 4th book this year. And I actually just finished this book and I thought it was so freaking good. When I tell you, I was literally on the edge of my seat in this book. I have highlighted parts in this book like throughout the entire thing. I did a whole book review on Instagram. But if you are someone who's kind of like in your 20s, you have a little bit of like a demanding career. She is is on rotation. So think of like Meredith in Grey's Anatomy when she was like doing her rotations and stuff through her clinicals. And like you're also like not struggling, but you're also like trying to create new friendships. There we go. You're trying to like maintain the friendships that you have. Also dealing with a little bit of like family drama, more so like just balancing that family time, like the amount of information you share with your family and all of that good stuff. Like, she's literally handling it all. And I just thought that this book was so beautifully written. The one thing that I absolutely loved about this book is at the bottom of it, the author, she would put these little like asterisks right here. So if you're reading and you're not familiar with something that she's talking about or something that she's referring to, she has little asterisks at the bottom of the page to like help you pull the entire story together, which I really, really liked. But hands down, 10 out of 10, highly recommend. And this is another book that I highly recommend. So this is a book that I read last year. Now, I will say that between On Rotation and this book, they were very similar, but her life was more so geared to like post-grad, you're in the real world, you're working. This book, I feel like it's geared more towards like if you're in college type of thing, maybe like you're about to graduate college or whatever. And she was just talking about like some of the struggles that she had. But again, you know, like she was in college, she was like super smart. She had her own radio station, you know, managing friendships, dealing with the new guy on campus. It gets a little spicy there. But this was a really good book. But even if you're not in college and it sounds like something you would read, I definitely say pick it up. It was definitely a page turner and I really, really enjoyed this book. And so this is another book that I want to say that I've already showed you guys this book, but if you haven't gone and picked this book up, I highly recommend for you to go and get it. I want to say that this author does the same thing with the asterisks at the bottom, I think. No, she doesn't. But she does a lot of like explaining in her book. But when I tell you, like the season that I read this book in my life, it was so relatable. I had so many notes written down. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if I picked this book up again within another year or two and read it again, because I feel like it's just so relatable. It's almost like when you're watching like a really good show and it's not really like a mystery, like there's not a whole bunch to uncover, but like the context in the show is really good. Think of like Sex and the City. I'm 26 years old. Sex and the City came out a while ago. By the time I was watching Sex and the City, I didn't even really understand what it was about. But now that I'm watching it as I'm older, there's so many relatable moments in that show. And I feel like with this book, I feel like that I would get the same vibe. Like I could read this again, maybe take something different in the second time that I read it versus the first time that I read it, and learn so much more about the character and myself again. But this was a really good book. Highly enjoyed it. 10 out of 10. Definitely recommend. And this was such a good book as well. I absolutely loved it. So this just tells a story about 4 best friends. I believe like one's in a relationship, one's married, one's single, and somebody else is doing something else. But this was a really, really good book. I read it last year, and I feel like if you're in a book club or like if you just have like a few friends that you want to read books together with, this would be a good one. I feel like everybody can probably connect to at least one of these women's stories within this book, and it just kind of feels like you have like a friend even in the characters. So this was just like a really good book. I definitely enjoyed it. So I feel like anytime someone's like, oh, like I'm trying to get back into reading, like what book should I get? I'm sending you like all 4 of these. All 4 of these can be purchased from Amazon for sure. I feel like Barnes & Noble has it, but let me give you a secret on Barnes & Noble. So I do love Barnes & Noble. I love to go there. I love to walk around. I think it's like, you know, it's a vibe. However, the books in Barnes & Noble, they are full price. So some books range from anywhere between $24 and almost $30. Now on Amazon, the books are discounted, especially if you have Prime. You get it literally within 2 or 3 days. So I will say that I am that girl that goes to Barnes & Noble. I will walk around, see what they have. And I will say that like if the price isn't like extremely different from Amazon, or if I have a gift card, I'll get it from Barnes & Noble. But if I can save $10 to $12 getting it from Amazon or even Target, I'm sorry, but I'm going there. Don't judge me. Eggs are like almost $6 for the basic brand. I can't be spending an additional $10 on a book if I can go and get it cheaper from somewhere else. Like I went to the grocery store today. I got literally maybe like 15 to 17 items. Why was my grocery bill $64? Like it's just me. So if I can save $1 or $2 somewhere, somehow, some way, honey, I'm gonna do it, okay? So I save some money with my books by getting them from Amazon or Target. So those are the books that I have for you. And now, moving on to the next topic. Friendships. I would say establishing friendships and maintaining friendships. As an adult, oh my gosh, like, It's a challenge. It's a challenge. I'm not even gonna lie. So I'll say that like I still have a lot of my friendships from elementary, middle, and high school. I'll say that like my college friendships, you know, I've definitely held on to a few of those friends, but like my core friendships are people that I met in like elementary and middle school. We went to different high schools together, but you know, we were still like in the same area, and then we went to different colleges, but whenever we would come home, it was like always good vibes. And so now we're still just like great friends and everything like that. And so I'll say that like maintaining the friendships isn't hard. I will say that there is a such thing, and I've experienced where like you and your friends are like here, and then, you know, some people are going to grad school, they're getting their master's, they're getting their PhD. Other friends are like establishing a business or, you know, entrepreneurialism. They're moving up in their company in their own way. They're buying a house, buying a car, getting a dog. You know, they're in a relationship. They're, you know, looking at marriage, thinking about kids. You see what I'm saying? Like a lot of like they elevate. And then you have some friendships where it's like you've gone and done all of this and your friends are still kind of like here, you know, like they haven't really like, you know what I'm saying? And so then sometimes I feel like it's kind of hard, or there can be a little bit of a disconnect when it comes to like conversations that you're having where it's like saving money, buying a car, paying off a car, saving for a house, looking for a partner, looking for a significant other, talking about the challenges that you have at your job, talking about job security in the market that we're in, you know, talking about different things. I feel like when you're here and some of your friends are not quite where you are, the conversations are not really the same as when you guys are on the same level, if you get what I'm saying. And so I feel like I've experienced that in some of the friendships that I've had for like years. And quite honestly, I really don't know how to like manage that. I feel like sometimes the conversations get to a point where they're just very, very high level, and you're like having to relearn that person all over again, even though, you know, in your own ways, you guys have elevated it, if that makes sense. And so I feel like I have like a pretty good relationship with all of my friends, but I will say, I think I'm hitting that age where everyone is kind of starting to grow at their own pace, some faster than others. Some it's like, okay, well, I can talk to you and get advice from you. Others is like, you know, I feel like that friend is just always that listening ear. And I feel like I'm at an age where like, I don't always want a listening ear. I want someone who can like challenge me a bit, who can question my actions just a little bit, you know, to get me to think outside the box or to get me to think of a different perspective. And so I just feel like, you know, when nobody really talks about like, I mean, we talk about it, you know, like losing friends and like not being friends with that person anymore, but like I don't want to lose the friendship. You know, I'm just trying to figure out, how do we continue to maintain what we have without making the other person feel bad? So if you have any suggestions, let me know in the comment section down below, or let me know if you're battling the same thing. If you are, you're not alone. And then when it comes to just kind of like establishing new friendships, whew, I feel like that alone could be its own video, but I'm gonna sprinkle a little bit of it in here. So I'll say that I moved to Atlanta this year, will make 4 years ago. That's crazy to me. And, you know, I've met people come and go. So I've noticed like Atlanta is a great place to come for work, but like some people will come here because they got like a new job and then they leave. And so then it's just like, you know, I've made friendships, I've maintained some friendships. And, you know, I think I'm to a point where I'm like, oh my gosh, like I'm kind of tired of like having to always create new friendships. And the reason why I say that is because once you're an adult, you're in your career, you've established your own schedule, you've established your core people in your life, and you've established just kind of like, you know, who you are as a person. For someone brand new to come in and to want to get to know you and to want to like spend time with you, in a way, they're kind of interrupting your schedule a little bit, you know, because then you have to make time for somebody else new when you're already trying to allocate all of your other time to people who are already in your life. And so I just feel like when it comes to like making new friends as an adult, you know, either you hit it off and you hit it off really well and, you know, you're great, or like you hit it off, but like it's not really that great, but you want to keep trying. And then I feel like when one person is trying more than the other, in my opinion, it's like, it's not even, you know what I mean? So it's like, if I'm always reaching out to the same person and they're never reaching out to me, whether that be checking in, whether that being like, hey, like, let's go grab drinks, let's go grab food, whether that be just like, like, hey, I'm in the area, like, mind if I stop by, or did you want to meet me up here? Like, if I'm the person that's always doing that and the other person isn't reciprocating, I'm not gonna lie, it makes me want to just kind of fall back, because then I just feel like, okay, well, like, maybe they're not in a season where they want new friendships, or they're open to new friendships. You know what I'm saying? And so I just feel like as an adult, it can just be a little bit hard trying to like, make friends and like become a part of somebody else's life, versus when you're in college. I met some of my very close friends in the bathroom, getting ready for classes. Or like I met some of my close friends, just like going down to like the dorm meetings or like dorm events. You're kind of all in the same boat. And as freshmen, we didn't have cars. So it was either like you're in the caf, you're in the community center, you're going to like, sport games or whatever the case may be. But like as an adult, these apartment complexes don't have, let me not say all, some of them do not have like events where you can go and like meet other people in the community. And so then it's like, I established like a book club. And so it's like, while I love that, the book club thankfully is like, all over the United States. So like we're in different time zones. Again, people have lives. So it's like, we meet sometimes, but it's not like we can actually create like a deep connection friendship, again, because people have lives, people have other priorities. And so I just feel like, as an adult, you try to find those spaces where you can be in and where you can connect in, but it doesn't always mean that like a super close or a brand new like sister type of friendship is going to come out of it. And so I feel like one of the things that I've learned how to do is just kind of like find coping mechanisms. And, I feel like reading is one of them. I read like over 50 books last year. And, while I was excited in the moment, it almost got me thinking like this year, I'm not trying to read that many books. Like I actually want to have a life. I want to go out and do things. And so I noticed that like, even when I hit my goal, there were still times where it was just like, I didn't have somebody to go and hang out with. I didn't have somebody to do things with. So I would just read a book. And, like I said, like this year, I'm already on my 4th book and we're still in freaking January. So it's just like, I really have nothing but time on my hands sometimes. And it can just be kind of hard, which leads me into dating a little bit. So I'll say, I feel like with dating, it's the same thing. You meet someone, and it also depends on like your intentions. Like, are you dating intentionally to find a husband or to be open to having a partner? And if you're not, are you just dating to like pass time? So I'll say like, I'm too emotional to date to just pass time. And I think that like, I've always been that person that's like, oh my gosh, like I thought in high school that at this age, like I'd at least be engaged or married, working on my first kid. And here I am. I'm not doing any of that. Okay. So it's just like, who was I to think that at 26 that I would have all of that? And, it's like, I get it. We're still super young, or I'm still super young, and I have like my whole life ahead of me. But when you think about it and you think about some of the friendships that you have and some of the people that a lot of people are in relationships. They're talking to someone, they have a roster, or, they are still living in their hometown, still doing great, but in their hometown where they're comfortable and familiar with. Me, I'm definitely not in my hometown. So I have no like family out here in Atlanta. You know what I mean? So it's like, I really am trying to like build friendships and things like that. So it's just a little bit different, but I say all that to say that we get into like these ages where like people just prioritize things differently. Some people who are in relationships, they're all about their man or they're all about their woman, and they will make time for friends, but primarily their partner is going to come first when it comes to like making plans or whatever the case may be. And when they want to break from their partner, then they're like, oh yeah, like I could use a girls' night out, or I could use a girls' night in, or I could do this or whatever. And so it's just like, I feel like I'm just at that age where I'm starting to crave that type of energy and attention, where I just want it from one person, And so I think that like I'm starting to be okay with just like waiting for the right person to come, because I don't want just somebody to pass the time. And so that's why I say, like I found like healthy like coping mechanisms, or just like things that I can do by myself. And so I think like this whole like soft life babe that I'm trying to establish is just like, a good, healthy morning routine. You know, if I'm not getting the good morning text every morning, at least I can, you know, wake up to all my skincare products and I know that I'm working on some glowing skin, okay? Or like a good night routine. If I don't have anybody to talk to at the end of the day, at least I know I have my yoga. By that time, honey, I'm so tired. Like, I'm ready to take a good shower. Ooh, I do have a shower routine. Maybe we'll talk about it in another one. But like, you know, I look forward to my shower routine. I look forward to a good book. I don't really drink that often during the week anymore. So like, I'll look forward to, you know, my cranberry juice, my apple juice during the week. And, you know, by that time, you know, I'm either like looking over content, editing content, you know, I'm making dinner, and then I go to bed. And so I feel like there is peace and solitude in just knowing that you can be by yourself. But I don't think that we were put on this earth to be super comfortable with just being alone all the time. Some people may feel that way. I honestly can't say that I feel that way, but yeah, that is what establishing my soft life looks like. And I feel like, you know, when you go out there and you're thinking about your soft life, just think about like things that you want to do, things that make you comfortable, things that make you happy, things that you look forward to. And again, if that's not Pilates or going to the gym 4 or 5 times a week or whatever the case may be, that is okay. Because as you can see, I didn't list none of that. I listed a good morning routine, a night routine, books, and, you know, just spending time, you know, by myself and like maintaining the friendships that I have and maybe entertaining new ones. But yeah, just think about like the life that you want and like what brings you peace and happiness. So I hope that you all have enjoyed this video and this girl talk. Definitely chat it up with me in the comment section down below. And I will see you babes in the next video.